Hello and welcome to Needful Things Again. Today we're going to crochet using Tunisian crochet, and we're going to make a case for our cell phone. You can make it any measurement you need to fit your phone. It's quick, it's easy, and it's fun. You'll need some yarn, your Tunisian crochet hook, some scissors, a needle for darning it together and sewing the sides and the bottom, and perhaps a button for your class. Join us, will you? Hello everyone, welcome to Needful Things Again. Today we're going to do something different. We're going to make this little case for your cell phone. This one fits my Galaxy, so that's what this measurement's for. So of course you'll need yarn, Tunisian crochet hook. I think this one is a 6mm Tunisian crochet hook, a button, a rhinestone if you want to glue it onto your button like that, a tiny little crochet hook or a darning needle, a pair of scissors, and you'll want to measure your cell phone. I don't know what cell phone you have, but it'll work for any cell phone. It doesn't matter. It begins and ends at the same way on either side. It's very simple. It's very easy. It's very beginner friendly. So you'll just take your measuring tape, measure your telephone, whatever it is across, measure your telephone this way. And when we're making the piece, we'll just double your telephone length and put like 5 extra rows for the flip that comes over with a little loop in the middle for a button. It's very simple and easy. And of course it just opens right up and you pull your phone out. I have a piece of cardboard in there because my phone is occupied at the moment. So yeah, let's get busy. Move this out of the way. I'll just start with this little small piece. Okay. You know, I don't know if you know how to Tunisian or not, but it's very simple. We'll just make a chain. I know that the width of mine was 16 chains, so you'll just make the chains and put it up to your cell phone and measure it, see if it's as wide as your cell phone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. That's your chain for your foundation row. Now we're going to do a forward pass and pick up our stitches. So you'll go into this chain here, pull through a loop, 1, 2, that's 2 on your hook, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So now you have 16 stitches on your hook. Well, I do because that's the width of my cell phone. Whatever width of your cell phone is how many stitches your chain would have been. So there I have 16 stitches. Now we're going to pull the stitches off. Yarn over, go through 1 loop, yarn over, go through 2 loops, yarn over, go through 2 loops, yarn over, 2 loops, yarn over, go through 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 2 loops. We're at the last stitch, yarn over and go through those 2 loops. You'll be left with one loop on your hook. And there's your first row there done. So now you see the stitches. We're going to just do it's called a Tunisian simple stitch. It's a very simple, easy stitch, but it packs a lot of punch and it's really pretty. It makes a really beautiful piece of fabric, as most of all the Tunisian stitches do. They can be yarn eaters though, I will tell you that. But they are so beautiful. I use Tunisian crochet to make throws, giant blankets. I've made baby clothes, dog sweaters with Tunisian crochet, people sweaters, long sweater coats. I mean, I've done all kinds of things with Tunisian. I just love Tunisian crochet. It's so much fun. It's very easy. So now what we're going to do is, you see we have these bars here all the way across. We're just going to take our hook, go right under that first bar there, and yarn over, pull through a loop. Go through the bar, under the bar, pull through a loop. Under the bar, pull through a loop. It is that simple. And do that all the way across the row. I guess that's why it's called the simple stitch, because it's so simple. But it really is, and it's so fun. It's such a pretty stitch. And you can put it together with all kinds of stitches once you learn the stitches. And then when you get to the other end, let me straighten this out for you. That's what you look like. And now we're at this end where we have one stitch left, where we just did the one, we yarned over and pulled through one loop. So what we're going to do here is go into the top of that stitch. There's 2 loops there, make sure you get them both, and just pull up a loop. That's all you do on the end. It's the easiest stitch in history. Pull up a loop. Pull up a loop. You know, and here's the thing about Tunisian. You will see a lot of people tell you a lot of things about Tunisian crochet. I learned Tunisian crochet from Arabic women, and I learned in a very different way. So I do see people saying, you know, what I don't like about crocheting people is that I'm never going to say to you, this is the right way and this is the wrong way, because I'm not trying to deter you from crocheting. I want you to love it. So I'm just going to say there's a lot of ways to do a lot of things. That's all. So now what we're going to do, yarn over, pull through the one loop, because that's what we're always going to do on that end, and the other end was going to have 2. Then we yarn over, pull through 2 loops, 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 yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and we're going to do that till we get to the last stitch. I'm using a bamboo Tunisian crochet hook. And now we're at the last stitches on the hook. We got a stitch there, we got 2 loops, yarn over, pull through both of those. And then you'll always have your beginning stitch already on your hook, which will end up looking exactly like the other side when you're done and you sew it together. And then you go under this bar here, pull through a loop, pull through a loop, go under the bar, pull through a loop, go under the bar, pull through a loop, go under that bar, pull through a loop, and you just do that all the way across the row, simple stitch, all the way till we get to the last stitch. Now we're at the last stitch, and you just go through those 2 loops on the end and pull up a loop. And this is what you're making. Isn't that pretty? And so we'll just do this together for a little bit. And you'll get used to doing the stitch, and then you'll make it double the length of your cell phone. And then once you get to the length of your cell phone, you'll add 5 more rows. And then I'll show you what to do at the end and how to sew it together. So here we go. We yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, 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 and we'll do this all the way across this entire row. They call these forward passes and return passes. But in Tunisian crochet, I no longer care about remembering all the stitches and what they're called. I know how to do them, and sometimes I even have to look at a video of a refresher stitch because I cannot remember all these stitches, and you shouldn't try to either. So we have our first stitch on the hook, go under that bar in the stitch that we just did, pull up a loop, under the bar, 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 pull up a loop. We'll do that all the way across until we get to the last stitch. And this is what we're making. Okay, so you just continue to do that, and I'll meet up with you when you get to the point that you have doubled the length of your phone. So happy crocheting, and I'll see you in just a few minutes. So how are you doing? I bet you're zooming right along, aren't you? Here's where I'm at. And the good thing about this, you don't even have to count the rows. Isn't that a blessing? So I'm going to do a little more with you. I'm sitting here having a nice warm cup of coffee. I'm using this rainbow color type situation yarn here. It's what I had to use. You can do this with any yarn that you have, whatever color you want. And you could also do this with a regular Tunisian hook that's metal and it's just, long and has the little button head on the end of it. But I have some of those, but I rarely use them because for me they're just useless, because when I work with Tunisian crochet, most of the pieces I'm working on are so big that those are really kind of useless to me. And I don't really like the stiffness of them. I do love my Tunisian crochet hooks. I'll just do a little quick video so you can see them. Oops. Popped out all my stitches. Isn't that crazy? That can happen too. Just don't panic. Just put it back in. The Tunisian knit stitch is very simple. I mean, they're just beautiful stitches. They really are. But they will eat your yarn up, I will tell you that. They're worth it. I just did a big shopping spree for my Christmas videos coming up. Ooh. And you know, if you don't need a phone case, it will help protect your phone if you throw it in a bag or something. You could give it away as a gift. Makes a great stocking stuffer at Christmas. I'm obviously going to end up with two since I'm making another one and I've already made one. And I will give them both away. And you know, if you need to, when you first start doing this, you can count your stitches to make sure you keep your stitch count correct. If that's easier for you, that's fine, not an issue. Okay, let me see here where we are. I will soon be to the top of my case, and I will just make another panel so it's doubled. And it basically is folded together with a flap. It's very simple. So you keep going, and I will meet back up with you in a little bit, and we'll move on to the next area. Enjoy your work. Okay, so we're back again. We're going to get to the next part. I'm almost to the end of this row that I'm working on now. That's what my piece is looking like. Okay, as you see, I have one laying there, so I'm not going to make two of these. So what we would do now is you need to get your stitch markers, because this piece is now double the length of my cell phone. That's what we're pretending that it is. So, you know, like if you fold it over and you put your cell phone inside of it, that's how long it should be. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put a marker here. This is like where the top of your cell phone would be. If you just like laid it down here, that's where you're putting the stitch marker. And that stitch. The right below what you just did. Okay. And now, and you have to pretend that I have, you know, I've done the whole length of it. So this is doubled, would be doubled. And now we're just going to do 5 more rows, and that will be for the tab part here. I'm using my recycled toilet paper roll that I keep my yarn on, as you can see. It works wonderfully. It's perfect size. one row. Sometimes that second to last stitch will hide in there. You have to make sure you don't miss it. So what do we have now? We have, here's my stitch. 1, 2, 3 rows. So we got 2 more rows to go. Just do little loops on the end. There you have it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5. I'm going to do one more. If your phone is shorter, you might want to do 4 rows. I don't know, it depends on how big your phone is as to what size you make it, because you don't want it to be all loose and baggy either. And you can use this stitch to do so many things. One of my favorite Tunisian stitches is the honeycomb stitch. I've used it to make sweater dresses, sweaters with hoodies, sweaters, all kinds of things. Okay, so there's my final row. I got my 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to do this return pass here. Whoops, need a little bit more yarn. Like this. Same way as we always do our return pass. Or just forward pass, return pass. Going and coming, coming and going. You don't have to remember all that. Just remember how to do it. That's what matters, is that you're doing it. Okay, so now just like with knitting and Tunisian crochet, you know, regular crochet, you finish the row, you tie it off, you're done. Well, with Tunisian, you can't do that, because who wants to be left with that? That's not very pretty, is it? So, with Tunisian crochet, there's a lot of similarities to knitting. One of them is that you have to bind off your work. And there's several ways to do it. You can just do slip stitches all the way across, You can do single crochets all the way across. You know, those are two ways that I do it. You could use a darning needle and do it that way, but that's not going to be very pretty. Today what we're going to do is slip stitches. So you've already got one on the hook, so we're going to go into the second bar here and just slip stitch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And right here, we're just going to do a little, because we have one, well, I do, yours might be a different width. We're going to do a chain, 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to go into the next one and keep on going with the slip stitches. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then you see you got your little let me get my out of the way. You got your little place for the button right there. And then cut your yarn, pull it up, and you'll stitch it in later with your darning needle. And now what we do is, if this was the length of my telephone, you see like that, and bring it up to where the two there that we put the markers in. Markers are very important. You can, if you don't have these kind of markers, you can mark it with a piece of yarn. And then this will fold over like this, at that line right there. And you'll put a button right there. And your loop will go right onto the button like that. So, we're going to do it wrong. Take your right sides together, and I usually just keep that same one on there, and just wherever I'm going to start sewing it together, I'll just clip those together. We'll deal with those strings later. Just clip it together there, so the sides are together. Now you see your sides are clipped together right there. And then you can either use a crochet hook and slip stitch it together. You can take a darning needle. I did it with a crochet hook, and I just did, I think I did slip stitches, or I might have done, sometimes I do single crochets. You can do either one. So just go into those chains right there, you see? And if I'm using it this way, you'll leave a piece long enough so you can sew it in like that. And then just sew it together. Ooh, didn't want to cut that. You clean that blade. And then you'll just do the same thing on this side. And you can open it up. Well, I guess now I have a change purse to go with the phone case. You can make whatever you like, I guess, but yeah. So you see it's sewn up on the sides, and your phone will just go right down in there. And then we will close it where it hatches, and we know that we want a button right here. So just put a marker there. And you're going to sew your button on right there. You can sew your button on with thread, or you can use yarn. I often will use the yarn that I use, and I just push it through the holes. I'll do one on that side, one on that side, and just tie the button on. You can do that if you want to. Anyway, that button's going to go right there. Then your loop will come down right here and close over your button like so. Like that. And if you don't like that button, well, if you can put rhinestone button on there. I had some beautiful rhinestone buttons, but I forgot them in the store. And that's what you'll end up with, and you'll have a really nice, beautiful phone case that looks like this. Put your phone in, and then that way it doesn't bang around in your bag. And I do think that I will eventually glue this little stone on there. Maybe I'll put some rhinestones all over it. So that's a very simple little project for Tunisian crochet. Enjoy it. It's really fun. It's very quick and easy. Don't stop crocheting.